A lone delivery driver, an eerie road, and strangers with dark secrets. Get ready for a chilling story that will make you question every turn you take. Mike was finishing his last delivery for the night. Rain pattered softly on the windshield, and the faint buzz of the radio filled the silence in his van. His GPS suddenly rerouted. Turn left onto Silent Street, it instructed. Mike frowned. He had never heard of the road before, but he trusted the GPS. It had saved him time countless times. As he turned, the street felt off. There were no cars, no lights, no signs of life. Just a long, empty road surrounded by dense trees. The flickering streetlights barely illuminated the way, casting strange shadows that seemed to move when Mike wasn't looking. Glancing at his GPS again, Mike saw the screen was frozen. No signal. It read, "Great." He muttered, tapping it. "Just what I need." As he looked back at the road, his heart stopped. Under one of the flickering streetlights ahead stood a figure. It was a man, or at least it looked like one. He was wearing a dark raincoat and stood perfectly still, his face hidden under the shadow of his hood. Mike slowed the van, honking lightly. "Hey, you okay?" he called out. The man didn't move. Mike hesitated, then decided to drive closer. As the headlights lit up the area, the man was gone. He blinked in disbelief. Where did he go? Shaking it off, he drove further, only to notice something strange. He passed the same flickering streetlight, the same crooked mailbox, the same overgrown tree. He was driving in a loop. Just as panic began to set in, Mike spotted another figure on the side of the road. A young woman this time, drenched from the rain, waving for help. She looked scared, her eyes wide with desperation. "Thank God," Mike muttered, pulling over. The woman ran to his window. "Please, can you help me?" she said, her voice shaking. "I've been walking for hours. This place, it's not normal." Mike unlocked the door, and she climbed in, dripping water on the seat. "What do you mean, not normal?" She looked at him with fear in her eyes. "This street, it doesn't let you leave." Mike felt a chill. "What are you talking about? I'm just lost, that's all." "No," she whispered. "It's more than that. There are others here, and they don't want us to leave." As they drove, Mike felt uneasy. The woman kept glancing out the window, her hands trembling. "What's your name?" Mike asked, trying to calm her down. "Claire," she said quietly. "I was just passing through, and then I saw them." "Who?" Before she could answer, they saw something ahead. 3 figures standing in the middle of the road. Mike slammed the brakes, the van skidding to a stop. The figures were motionless, staring at them. Their faces were pale, their eyes hollow and dark. One of them smiled, a twisted grin that didn't look human. "Turn around!" Claire screamed. Mike didn't hesitate. He threw the van into reverse, but the engine sputtered and died. "No! No! No!" he yelled, frantically turning the key. The figures started walking toward them, their movements slow but deliberate. "Run!" Claire shouted, pulling Mike out of the van. They sprinted through the rain, heading toward a house with its porch light faintly glowing. It was the only sign of life they had seen. "Someone must be here," Mike said, banging on the door. "Help, please." The door creaked open on its own. Inside, the house was cold and dark. The furniture was old, the wallpaper peeling. A grandfather clock ticked loudly in the corner, even though its hands didn't move. "Hello?" Claire called out, her voice echoing. Suddenly, they heard a child's laughter. It was soft at first, then grew louder, coming from upstairs. "No way," Mike said, shaking his head. "We're not going up there." But before they could leave, the door slammed shut behind them. Claire grabbed Mike's arm. "We need to leave. Now." The laughter turned into whispers, surrounding them. "They see you." You don't belong here. Stay forever. Mike shone his flashlight around the room, the beam catching something in the corner, a shadow that moved, even though nothing was there. It stretched across the wall, growing larger, its shape twisting into something unnatural. The shadow spoke, its voice deep and echoing. "You cannot escape," Claire screamed, grabbing a heavy lamp and throwing it at the shadow. The light shattered, and the whispers stopped. For a moment, everything was silent. Then the front door creaked open, revealing the empty street. "This is our chance!" Mike yelled, grabbing Claire's hand. They bolted outside, running as fast as they could. As they ran, the street lights flickered, and the figures appeared again in the distance. But this time, they weren't alone. Shadows swirled around them, their twisted shapes clawing at the air. Mike and Claire reached the van, and miraculously, it started. The headlights cut through the darkness as they sped down the road. The whispers followed them, growing louder. "You will come back. You belong to us." And then, just like that, they burst onto a familiar highway. The rain had stopped, and the night felt normal again. Mike pulled over, his hands trembling on the steering wheel. Claire was silent, staring out of the window. "What just happened?" Mike asked. Claire shook her head. "I don't know, but we can't tell anyone. They won't believe us." Mike nodded, gripping the wheel tighter. He never drove that route again, but he left one warning behind.
If you ever see a road called Silent Street, don't take it, no matter what.